Oh, what's that you're asking? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's Deadball. Yes. I was
There
reading
it
it.
is.
No. Yeah. It's it's in hand. It's not a myth anymore. It's a real thing. Um, I had to go back to 1908 to find paper.
Feels like we started it in 1908 to get
Yeah.
this going, right? I mean, my God, it took so long
Yeah.
out.
But
So
it's gonna be worth it, and moving forward, it will not. We figured out our system now. Um, got a new printer. That was literally so fast. It was less than 2 weeks, wasn't it, to get that from when the actual order got put in?
yeah, I think the the longest time was just getting the proof okayed, right? The email and
Right.
they sent us a proof, and that took like just 3 or 4 back and forth. So we're like, yeah, it's good, let's go. And then I mean, man,
Yeah.
it was here like a week or something. It was awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
And the quality's great. The picture quality and the paper quality. So like people are gonna be happy. That inside cover, you freaking killed that. It's so awesome. That
Yeah,
was such a good idea. Like wouldn't have crossed my mind. So
yeah, that's a real dead ball era scorecard, and I just
yeah,
changed for the ads, like Neville's carnival ads in there,
yeah.
like uh, has
Livid Comics,
Livid Comics ad, Rogerio's names in there.
your
Um,
name, Ed.
yeah, those are real ads. I just kind of modified them, make them look period correct. So
Yeah, that's
pretty
super
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
neat. Yeah.
Um, and my wife doesn't read comics, but she did read this and she really liked it. She's like, I want to know what happens next. I'm like, well, you're not gonna have to wait another 8 months, I promise. Rogerios
Uh, yeah,
cranking.
yeah. Rogerio's just been, my God, he's already half done. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's got to get back over to here, and then I got to call it that thing. So that was really the purpose of this show, was to kind of just do some updates and see what the hell's going on. I feel like we got
yeah,
a lot of different projects, and people are wondering where everything's at. So that's the
yeah,
big one for this week, right? That's what's new this week, is
yeah,
that physical copies have officially arrived, guys, after 8 months of fiasco. And we feel just as badly that it took that long as everybody else. Trust me, nobody wants it out more than we do, right? I mean, that's like,
yeah.
why would we want to delay it? We want that thing to get out of here.
Well,
So
the most frustrating part is Rogerio had that art done, and you had the coloring done. I mean, like what, by Christmas, I think. Or around there, I think, because
there
hey,
it is.
look at that.
He's like Beetlejuice. You say his name, he shows up.
Yeah, we should have waited to show the dead ball cover then. But I was just saying, like, the most frustrating part about just getting this book out was that it was really done months ago. It was all the other crap that slowed it down. The paper shortage, pandemic, then switching printers, and then obviously we could have gone with a different letterer and not had to wait for Ed to be available. But I really wanted to use him because I think he's phenomenal. So we also had to wait for him to be available. Um, so it. I was just saying to Joel before you came on, like, issue 2 will not be that dragged out. Like, you're already more than halfway done the art now, and we have, like, it took us like a week to get that from the printer, instead of like 8 weeks, like we were waiting for Yule. So
Hold it back
uh,
up there so you can see it. I don't know if Rogerio's seen it yet.
I
So
was reading it to start the episode here. So
Wow.
it's the real
your
deal, man.
your name is officially on a cover. Look at that.
This
Yeah.
is fucking A. Fucking A. That's great.
Yeah,
Great. Great.
and then the inside cover looks so awesome. Is your name over here on the side?
I love
Yeah.
Uh,
I love it
yeah.
says ask the boy underneath it. Like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the man. That's what it means. Yeah.
yeah,
If you have a
yeah,
question, you ask Rogerio, you get your answer. That's how we roll.
All
yeah,
right. All right. Before all, good evening, people. And it was a great insight that you guys had when you hired a letterer, because I thought my lettering wasn't, what was all right, but when I saw his works, I said, "Oh my God, I can't do it." It was
That's-
crap. It was crap. He did it so much better than I could have, and it was great idea. And it's like it feels like it's a pro job we did with that ball one.
yeah,
The cover, the leather, the color is awesome as well, and I think it's going to be a hit. Probably we're going to reprint it a few
Yeah,
times
I would
if
hope
we,
so. Yeah.
And also let me tell you about the exhibition that started last week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's a very small shop, but people are really into to comics and art and everything. And I've been selling the copies, which are laser copies, but I put on a hard surface, so you can put anywhere and it be very very firm. And I've sold around 50 copies.
Really?
Yeah, it's like $5 each, because I wanted people to have it.
Yeah, right.
And it's great. Some of the pages are selling more than others, but it's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, the everyone that sees it is just blown away by the whole picture. And I didn't even tell you this yet, Joel, but like the watercolor effect, like on the actual paper, looks so legit. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it looks cool.
I was scared it wasn't going to translate well. I'm like, I don't know how
No,
the hell it's going to look, but
it definitely does. Yeah, I wish I could. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it good on the camera, but yeah. Yeah, I almost just gave away like a big part of the book to show you something. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really like in the like the scenes where he's like going to the ballpark drunk, you can't see it with the reflection.
Yeah,
too well,
yeah. On the screen,
yeah.
it's like like whenever it gets, unless you have that in hands.
Yeah.
There's no way we can figure that out without having the physical copy.
I love that effect looks, but man, if you don't know, people listening don't know about coloring the comic. That took so long because it's like each page and panel is like hand painted, almost. Like sometimes, like if you have a shape like my head, you could do it like an outline, right, and then just drop in a paint bucket tool and it would do one shot color, fills the whole thing instantaneously. But with that paintbrush, you have to sit there and color everything like you're painting a picture. So it took a long time, but it's a cool effect, right? So maybe I bit off more than I could chew, so to speak, but I think it was worth it because it has a cool effect. I don't know of any other book that looks like that, and we wanted it to have kind of a period feel, so we wanted it to look like a golden stain kind of look to it too, which is part of that. So
I'm going to make sure that I do a Ferris wheel splash page in every issue for you guys. So.
Yeah, and also, guys, I didn't want to go very smart on the presentation of the panels. I want to be kind of square because
like
we are the 1910s, so I can't just go wild and creating crazy stuff like some comics that we see doing that. Some are great, some are kind of too much, and I didn't want to take that risk. And sometimes we feel challenged to do that, but that's not for that ball.
No, and I think Ed did that with his lettering too. He stayed pretty, safe. He didn't go like if you looked at his lettering in like vinyl and plastic that Doug Wagner did, it's a lot more like I don't want to say over the top, but it fits the story more. So this kind of had to be, like to your point with the panel layout, like very classic almost. So, but yeah. So
and the good thing for the backers to know is that like we are more than halfway through the second book, so they won't have to wait as long. And the pandemic is over, and I don't think there are any excuse for for delays. So that's it. If people get the number one, they get the number two for sure because it's on the making. So it's all right.
Honestly, like we could have had issue 1 sooner if we sacrificed paper quality, and we didn't want to do that. Like our old printer, I'm not going to bash anyone. Like I'm not going to call out names or anything because the quality of Yule was incredible. So I'm not trying to bash anybody, but with the paper shortages, they basically said they could potentially get it to us sooner, but they couldn't guarantee they'd have the paper we wanted. And I'm like, well, no, like I'm not going to put it on crappy paper. Like we'll just wait. Never thought we'd be waiting as long as we did, but it's worth it in the end. So
it doesn't look like a first book, right? If you that could be on a shelf, and I'm not just saying it's my book, right? Whatever, but it doesn't look like a first go, right? I mean, this is our second book ever, really, that's gone into print, and you wouldn't think that looking at the quality of it. I mean, we kind of spared no expense, quote unquote, and put something really good out there. So
yeah, two books on the shelf during the pandemic. That's something.
Yeah. For just 3 guys, we're not a big, it's not 40 people working here, right? I mean, it's the 3 of us here, and we all had day jobs. So we were all working something else and doing this. So,
and
kids, and being a husband, and whatever, and everything else we have going on. So I mean, we did this.
Sacrificing time with the kids, sacrificing time with Netflix and all this. Other things.
Late nights, right? A lot of late nights, and do things.
But the good thing is that it's there forever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's there forever.
Yeah.
I got to make sure, because I have issue 1 of Yule, framed behind this here, behind the banner here. I got to do it for Deadball. Have it side by side. So got issue 1 of both of our series up on the wall. But
yeah.
What's happening with the issue 2 of Yule? Like it came to a halt. Like are you thinking of resuming?
I can tell you that. I'll take that one. So here's what happened with Yule 2. It's all drawn, right? All the pencils are done, which that's great. It's all set. I started inking it, and then John and I got an offer to work on an NFT project, and that was sometime around like October. Was it, John? September, October?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We were trying to get that done because we wanted to get it out by December, is what was asked of us. Say, hey, can you get this by December? Okay. So we had a really close deadline. It was like 5-6 weeks to get that done. So that we stopped Yule, went to that, did that, and then the crypto NFT space kind of slowed down. Whatever it's doing. So that's on hold, right? So so that project's done. Then we went back to Yule 2, started inking that out, and then John got an offer, or we got an offer to do an anthology, right, John? It's a horror anthology. Yep. Yeah. So John wrote that story called Letters to Santa, and now I'm on that and doing that because now that has a June deadline. So it's all these things keep like just inserting themselves in front of Yule too. But once the anthology's done, I don't see anything else on the radar right now in terms of getting back on that.
You know what's funny? I was looking through my phone notes last night for I'll randomly scroll through to look at like story ideas that I have written down in the past to see if anything sparks my interest. And I saw Yule 3's like I have the whole book outlined already, and I'm like, God damn, like issue 3 is gonna be so freaking awesome. I can't wait to get to that one. But
we talked about 3 like halfway through 1 about like the crazy world that Will ends up in that book. I think we kind of built around that as like alternate universes and crazy shit, and he gets his ass kind of handed to him in that book. So
yeah,
get ready.
I can't wait for that one. It might be more than 22 pages. I know, because you were like, well, we could do more issues or whatever. I really want that issue to end at that spot. So even if I have to do more pages, I'll do more pages for that book. Yeah.
The standard there is something around 28 pages.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, 22, I don't even think is the norm anymore, is it? That's what it is on these, like for a lot of indie books, I think. But like, I think a lot of the Marvel books are like 28 pages now. Like
26.
26.
Yeah. I 28 because it has to be a multiple of 4.
Right.
Plus they have the ads, advertising, whatever. So, yeah, that's it too. Yeah. I don't see it being a problem. We could go another book, but then you talk more printing, more delays, right? Or we just make.
And I want to. Yeah. I don't want Yule to take 5 years for us to get the freaking run done either.
Well, so. I feel you. I got you, but Lock and Key took like 12 years for Gabriel and Joe Hill. So I was like, it is what it is. But
I just can't wait for us to have like trade copies of our series. Like I love like the graphic novel look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
The way I see is in 5 years we have to have a omnibus version of those series.
They have to be, yeah.
Not
Well,
the,
and then at that point,
hey,
hopefully we can pitch them to like some
yeah.
of the bigger companies too, right? Once we have everything, in hand, like, hey, here it is, like, check it out. I think that's part of our strategy, as far as like not going to too many comic shops yet or anything, because, and thank God we didn't, right? Because like, look how the delays we've run into and stuff, like, having them waiting on a book for much longer than they want, and then just access or something. So
I,
having some of these books done and ready to give them with a backlog, basically, like we said.
I think we were always right on with that thought, was have 3 or 4 done in the can, and then we just start releasing them, right? Don't do one, then people, whatever, So really, like Yule 1 might not even hit local stores until Yule 4 is done. Who knows, right? I mean, we might
Yeah.
wait that long, but of course we'll make it available for people online and get it out there ahead of time with that front too. So yeah, that's been going on. Then John's got his book coming out next month. Do you have the
from
copy?
yesterday, or a month from today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this.
So let's pull
Bad
that up.
boy. Yeah, my cover artist is going to brighten the bottom down here because you can't really make it out too well. Amazon apparently prints really dark on their covers, um, but yeah, it's. I can't wait. I've been so tempted to push the release date.
What's it about? Tell us what the story is.
Yeah, well, it's about a group of kids that finds this mysterious grave in the woods while they're filming a horror movie, and it so happens that the town had a serial killer 20 years prior who was captured, but his last victim, never was discovered. So these kids assume, that this is somehow related to the serial killer, and they start doing some digging and uncover this whole, dark secret of the town, or whatever you want to call it, right? But they release this entity onto this town, this evil entity from the grave, and so it's basically like it's part coming of age, part slasher, part possession, and it's really about this group of kids, uncovering the dark secrets of the town and trying to stop this thing before it basically kills the whole town. So I was definitely inspired by like It and Ghoul by Brian Keene. So to see some of the reviews comparing it to those two, I'm like, holy shit! Like those are like two of my all-time favorite books, and absolutely inspired this book. So it's not on their levels, I don't think, but it's. I mean, it's getting good reviews.
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, I'm not Stephen King, but no, it's doing really well with the reviews. A couple of the major horror websites are going to be putting reviews out soon, and they really liked it. They're waiting until like right up close to release to put their reviews out, but so that'll be cool. And yeah, it's I got some blurbs from horror authors that are going to be going in it, and I won't say their names yet just in case they can't get them in time. But I've already gotten a couple that I've posted, and they really liked it. So so far, knock on wood, I mean, you're not a real author until you get your first 1-star review where someone just trolls you or shits on it. So I haven't gotten that yet, but so far so good. So
So is this book a whole story in itself, or do you think there has to be a second series of it?
Oh no, all along I always wanted to write a prequel. I already had like the whole story planned out, and I actually planted seeds with some of the scenes in this book that would make really cool like scenes in the prequel, like explaining like the first murders taking place during a snowstorm when the power was out. Like I just thought that would be a cool scene to like really write out in detail in the prequel. And spoiler actually. There you go again. And then as I was writing it, I'm like, shit, like I started thinking of ideas for like a sequel, like a follow-up beyond the initial book. And so then that was in my head, but all along I'm like, I don't want to sacrifice this book. Like there has to be a conclusion in this book. Like I don't want people to think they are just left hanging. So it has like an actual ending to it, but there's definitely it's like the Marvel movies, you know, the post credit scene, right? Like there's something towards the end that you have to read that leaves it open a bit. So, but yeah, so and some of the reviews are like want a sequel already, like with some of the characters that don't die. So yeah, that's another spoiler. I definitely I have some George R. Martin in me, if you will. I'm not afraid to kill anybody if the story dictates it, you know. So I had Marcelo was texting me. He's like, "What the fuck, man? Why did you kill that character?" I'm like, hey, man, like, that's the reaction I wanted. That's why. So, but yeah. So that book will be out a month from today.
What's the date of that? When's it coming out?
June 3rd, the day before my daughter. That was stupid on my part. I'm not gonna be having any launch parties. Um, her birthday party will be Cursed Among Us themed. That's what it's gonna be.
Can people pre-order that now? They can pick it up, right?
You know what sucks about Amazon is unless even if it was through like a publisher, unless it's one of like the big 5 publishers, they only let you do pre-orders on Kindle. They don't let you do it on physical paperbacks or hardcovers, which is so annoying because most people that's what they want, especially when you know it's a pretty badass cover. Like everyone's like, I want to own that physical cover. I don't want to just have it digitally. I'm like, shit. But yeah, so pre-orders for Kindle are up now. It's actually done really well. It's slowed off a bit the last few weeks, but I was up to like number 23 on new releases, and it wasn't even out for like 2 months at that point. So I was like blown away by that when I was just watching the sales report or whatever. I'm not selling 1 million copies or anything. It doesn't take many to move you up the new release, just so you know.
Are you going to be the voice for your audiobook?
No. Oh no, but thanks for bringing that up. I ramble too much. I would be terrible with that.
You can go under some training. Like you'll be fine.
I actually hired the audiobook guy already, and he's freaking awesome. He's one of my favorite audiobook guys.
The thing is, people don't like it. People want you to listen to the author's voice. That's a big trend.
That's I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same here.
Have you ever listened to a Stephen King audiobook? It's like him narrating it. I mean, it's like
no, but maybe there's an exception.
No, he does it. He does do some of them. Yes, and I don't like those books as much. You know, listening to them. And I don't have that voice. I really don't. I know you say you can go to school for it, but like.
Well, I was, you know, I'm a big Ray Bradbury fan, so I grew up watching like Ray Bradbury theater, and he'd set the prologue, and he would do all that stuff like himself. And so I know maybe that's where it came from, but I've always liked the author reading their own books, right? Even if it's kind of clunky and weird and shitty, it just kind of adds like a personality to it. Like, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
I think that helps to make the book more alive.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm telling you right now, though, the guy I got does like such great character work, like the different voices he uses and stuff. Like I had a very small list of audiobook narrators that I really wanted. The first guy I reached out to did Malfi's last book, Come With Me, and he was all on board, but he didn't want to take a chance. He said, because I don't want to I'm not trying to make him sound bad, because I would probably feel the same way if I was him, to be honest. I'm some guy that doesn't have a book out yet, you know. So, you know, a lot of the narrators, they'll do royalty shares. So like you don't pay them anything. They just take, you know, half of the royalties. And that's what the guy I went with, you know, that's how he works. But the other guy will do that on occasion, but if it's someone that doesn't have a track record, he wants to cover himself and charge per finished hour, basically. And it was like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but then I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to sell a fucking boatload of books for that to make it worth it. So I couldn't do it. But then I'm like, well, that's fine, because I have this list of people that I really like, and it was the second guy that I reached out to, and he was all on board, and his stuff just freaking crushes it. So I'm pretty pumped to have him doing the audio of it. So
yeah, I'm really I love audiobooks, because I don't have too much time for reading. And see back there, just this
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is all my 6 month pile of projects that I backed and I didn't have the time to read. It's still
Yeah.
there, and it's embarrassing because people ask me, what did you think of my book, of my comics?
Yeah.
And
You
I
got the
say,
book
I haven't read that yet. Sorry,
right.
I'll tell you in 5 years.
Did I show you guys this one on one of the shows yet? I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this one a couple weeks ago. This was Joel. We had issue 1 of this on our con table,
Right.
Whitaker Knox, and he ran through some delays with issue 2. It's a pretty hefty book, but I just got this a couple weeks ago, and it's this guy crushes the art. He's from Brazil too, I think.
What's his name?
Silvio DB. That's his Facebook name too, I think. So just Silvio and then DB for his last name.
Yeah, Silvio. It has to be Brazilian.
Yeah, he does really. I mean, his work is freaking awesome. Like he does really
Wow,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love the colors too.
Yeah, I don't know who. It's only their names listed, so I wonder if he. Oh, oh yeah, he did pencils, inks, and colors. Good for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's definitely not a page a day job.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine. But yeah, I tell that guy all the time. I love those books. So that's the first one I ever backed on Kickstarter. I tell him that all the time too. Like when Joel and I were just trying to learn Kickstarter and check it out, that was the first book that caught my eye when I was trying to figure the whole system out, and I bought it, and I just got it because it was so delayed. But I didn't. But see, I'm not like a jerk about that stuff. Stuff happens. I get that. Like I'm not sitting there looking at the mailbox every day like, where's Whitaker Knox? God damn it! Like, I just when it comes, it comes. So.
In fact, stuff I can't remember anymore, and I'll probably never see it at this point. But there's stuff I backed when we were working on Yule 1. I haven't seen it yet. So
Yeah, exactly.
some of the stuff we'll never see, right?
You gotta. Rogerios, like, shut up.
Yeah.
Wow. The real needs of real people that could benefit from it. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well.
And then the other thing you got going on with your writing, you signed up for AuthorCon next year, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so pumped. I want it to come already. Like I already have a table for next year. I wanted to have a table this year, but I didn't dare get one because I didn't know if my book would be ready or not. My book was ready. Like I technically could have released it back in March and had it in hand. It was done. I just wanted to give a few months to promote it, which I think is going to be worth it. But I didn't want to also just go there with one book on our table, like I guess I could have brought some of our comics like I plan to next year, but yeah, like I went down as a fan this year and I bought like 30 freaking books. But I networked with so many like top notch like horror authors, and I just saw how freaking well the show did, and tickets for next year, AuthorCon 2, sold out in 33 minutes for vendor tables. And they're opening up other rooms there to get more people in now because it just was so popular. So I should do well, I would hope. But
here so far we have a kind of 4 cons every year.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, it's not only a matter of paying, like they choose people because there's so many artists and authors.
Yeah, you guys are full of them.
They don't have the space, and then they have to select people. It's very hard to get in, very hard, and because we have so feel events like that, and people they just swarm into it. It's a huge success because people are really willing to see new things.
Yeah.
And every convention, like you only see new things.
That's cool.
Today's convention is old conventions tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, we've only done the one here, but they're everywhere here. It's just a matter of the time and money to put into it. But
you could drive around all summer and find one somewhere, right? I'm sure.
Oh,
You
like
want to.
even right now, there's a crap ton of conventions going on. And it's not even like convention season. Like there's like a time of year where like Silverbacks, when we were trying to have him come on the show, he's like, yeah, I got a con this weekend, that week. Like, geez, man, I can't even imagine. But
It's on tour. It's like being on tour, right?
it really is. Yeah.
All over the place.
Um, I kind of, part of me wants to go back to Granite Con. I don't know if it's too late at this point, but probably not. I want us to have like a nice table set up, which I think we would have at least 3 books out. I would think at that point.
Your book.
Yeah. That's it. Like for AuthorCon too. Like I'll have my second novel will be done by then. So I'll have 2 novels. I reached out to the publisher that put out the anthology that with my story in it, and he was all excited like that. I was like, hey, I'd be happy to put some of that book on the table too, since I have a story in it. And he's like, hell yeah. And then like our comics, like, so it'll be a nice layout. But
Yeah. We got the other anthology, Letters to Santa. Nothing to do with Yule. Just John has a Christmas theme in them. John wrote that. Set that up, John. Tell us about that.
I love Christmas horror. Like it's just like one of my favorite things in the world. Like I actually, before I wrote my next novel, I was gonna do a short story collection of just holiday horror stories, and then like I had the second novel in my head already, so like I couldn't get it out of my head. I'm like, all right, I have to write that. I wrote Letters to Santa as a like a prose story for that collection. And then I started working on my other novel. But when we got that invite to the anthology, I'm like, man, this would be such a freaking cool comic story too, I think. And I'm pretty sure I could fit it into 10 pages. I just had to cut some stuff out. So it's basically about this kid that lives in an abusive household. His parents don't have any money, and he never has gotten a Christmas gift his entire life. When he's 8 years old, he begs his mom to write a letter to Santa, and she tells him like Santa only comes when parents can afford to make him come. Like, so he just begs and begs, and she's like, all right, if you can write the letter, but it's not going to change anything. And so he writes this letter to Santa asking for certain gifts, basically, and they drop it off in the mailbox. Well, he wakes up Christmas morning, and those gifts are under the tree. And am I telling? Oh my God, I'm telling the whole story. So long story short, though, so that kind of leads into it, right? So he gets these gifts. He finds out, like, holy crap, writing these letters to Santa actually works. But his dad's abusive. He's a drunk, and like he thinks the mom bought the gifts with money they didn't have, so he's pissed. So he like wants to return them. Blah blah blah. Well, he beats his wife too, and the kid gets pissed, and some bad things happen. Basically, he has to write a letter to Santa the following year, 2 years later, asking for some help for something bad that happened. And when he sees the results, he realizes it's a lot more horrifying than just Santa Claus. So it's kind of a cool little twist at the end, but I don't want to spoil it because that's like the coolest part. Yeah. So it's dark.
Yeah, I'm doing the drawing, ink, and coloring on that. So you mentioned Whitaker. It takes about a week to do everything, right? Between getting
one page, you mean?
Yeah, it takes about a week, right? Between thinking of how it's going to look, do the thumbnails, the drawing, the inking, the coloring, right? Just trying to get it all done. It's about a week. I'd say 5 to 7 days to do a whole page. Yeah,
that's. I can't even imagine. Like I said, I can't draw sequential, so
The way you guys create, like when you're trying to give a body to your characters, how do you envision them? Do you compare them to some famous person, or what do you do?
I know, like for both of you guys, that like will ask me, like, do you have anything in mind at least, so you can get kind of an idea. But I usually. I want to give you guys complete freedom unless there's like actually something that I really care about, which usually there's not. So I don't know where Joel, gets.
I don't know. They pop into my head like a subconscious vision, I guess, right? And a lot of times I'll just be drawing and it will just talk to me as I'm drawing. Like, okay, it's an 8-year-old kid. Maybe he's like, because my daughter's, that age, missing a couple teeth or something, kind of goofy. They have their adult teeth, but kid teeth. And so maybe he's got some large teeth and maybe his ears are a little too big for his head, those kind of things. So I just think of, as I'm drawing it, those ideas kind of come to me when I'm trying to come out with a character. I would say more with letters, I'm going kind of more just loose and cartoony. I think versus Yule, even a little bit more, just kind of going more freeform with stuff and whatever. Some things are exaggerated, a little bit more than what it would be.
Oh yeah, that's
intentional. Like I don't know, my wife saw the dad's hands, and she's like, they're really big, and I'm like, well, the guy's kind of a brute and kind of an asshole, and that just kind of hit this the exaggeration of his hands being like, just clobber clubs, that was just kind of whatever. So yeah, just whatever, just playing around with it. It didn't have to be to scale or perfect anatomy or anything. Who cares, just have fun.
No, I didn't look at it and think like it, it looks like it should be like that. You know what I mean? Like it should be. I don't want to call it cartoony. Did you use the word cartoony?
The word cartoony, exaggeration. That's really for me. That's kind of almost an homage back to some of the Jack Davis stuff with Tales from the Crypt, because this kind of had that quasi-realism, but sometimes cartoony kind of feel to his characters, and like their eyeballs and their teeth and the exaggeration. There's just a little bit of blend in there. Like, what the hell, like let's just run it. So,
Will Eisner was very good at it. Like he could do realistic and could exaggerate the characters, and they would still look cool. I'm a big fan of Spirit.
Yeah,
and like he laid the foundations there. And everything is there. Even Batman was captured by that kind of feel for some time at the beginning, at first. Very similar, the way they told the stories back then.
I think having a little bit of apathy and not giving a shit kind of can go a long way too. It kind of makes it more interesting, right? It's just like, okay, I mean, how many panels of comics that we like do you look at it, you're like, wow, that leg is really kind of jacked up looking, or that he really phoned in that background, but who cares, right? It works, right? So people get really hung up on sometimes on some things like that, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's like, well, I knew it was a leg, or I knew it was a car in the background, but maybe it's 3 lines to show a car. Like, who cares,
I would never. When I'm looking at it, like, I'm not the artist, right? So like, I don't think that way. I'm sure like some artists looking at other artists are judging, but like most of the readers are not like, oh, look at that arm, but so this is one portion of my collection from AuthorCon. Actually, that's not true. There's a couple books in there, like Alan Baxter's new book that's not, and my book. 2 copies of my book. Okay. I read a lot of my own book.
File.
And then this is the anthology part 1 that I don't know if we already told you this, Rogerio. So this came out this past fall.
Right.
We got invited to part 2 of this for that story that we were just talking about.
It's very good. I guess the guy that made this cover, like
that's Silverbacks.
That
was Brian.
Yeah, that's Brian. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. He did that cover. I intentionally backed that particular cover on Kickstarter because I knew we had a cover by him coming, so I wanted to have another one of his. I actually have a few of his now from other Kickstarters, but yeah. So it was a pretty cool anthology. So I'm excited to be part of part 2, and it was really successful on Kickstarter too. I think it made like 10 grand.
Is that out yet?
The first one, no. The one that we're doing is not. No.
Oh, okay.
I think they'll probably. I think the last Kickstarter for the part 1 was like November, if I recall. So
how many authors in there?
I don't know. Like 8 to 10 stories, I think. It's a graphic novel thickness kind of. So I don't know how many are gonna be in part 2, but Travis Gibb, we had him on. I don't know if you were on that show. Were you?
Travis Gibb, I don't think I was. No, but I know him.
So he I don't know if he owns Orange Comb Productions or if he just like kind of co-founded. I don't even know, but I know he's like one of the main dudes there. But they put that out. So, by the way, I got that Granite State Punk Kickstarter in the mail. It's freaking cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I wish I had it down here. I actually don't. It's upstairs. But yeah, it looks awesome. But
I'll have to check that when I come to your house to sign the dead balls or whatever we're doing with that. So.
Well, we gotta, so I know Mother's Day's this weekekend, so that's probably out.
Gonna grab something here because it's really hot.
Yeah, man. Get it up.
It's already freaking complaining of the heat in Brazil. It's barely May.
What, 49 degrees Fahrenheit up here, and like, just freezing my balls off, and he's
got a fan Beyonceing his hair.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be there soon enough. I was gonna bring it up on this show is that this might be my last indoor show for the winter season.
80 next week, right?
Yeah, we might be back on the porch next week, so that could be exciting. So, looking forward to that.
And that's the other. So we didn't have a show last week. Part of it was like I've been like just destroyed by sickness this last month. Like, and then obviously we've been so slammed with not only projects but our day job. Like, we just haven't really been trying to line up guests. It's our own fault, but so
we could have again. No, I won't mention his name. No.
I don't know who you're referring to, but don't say it. I don't want to get in trouble with anyone.
Oh god, yeah. I better not say it. Yeah. But we can go on the community and talk to people,
Oh, it's just I could get a guest in like 10 minutes, really. I was saying to Joel, it's like between our projects and our day job and all this stuff, we've been so slammed that I haven't been like for a long time. I was booking a month out, with guests, at least, and I just haven't been doing that on my end, and I don't know. We got to get better about that, but that's not an issue. We'll get guests. But I was going to show you guys the cool shirt I got. This Poltergeist shirt from Bright Rags. I freaking love this shirt.
That's beautiful.
By the way, that movie is probably my all-time scariest movie. Like as a kid, that movie terrified me growing up.
I was probably your son's age when I saw that. I don't know how. Probably my brother. He subjected me to all kinds of crazy things I shouldn't have been watching at this point. He was 10 years older than me, so and still lived at home. So yeah.
When the little girl gets trapped in the TV, like that scared the crap out of me. Just thinking that could happen.
I thought it was gross, like that weird, like pink ooze shit that was on. Yeah, right. Like what is
the tennis ball popping out? Like it's nasty. Yeah.
And then the corpses and the spoiler alert, 40 years later, the corpses coming out of the pool, right at the end scene. Yeah, when it's raining and shit, like that was over the top, man.
I love that movie. I kind of want to watch it again. Actually.
I have to fact check that, but some people say that the Poltergeist film is based on true stories back in Germany.
In Germany.
They adapted. Including the name Poltergeist is a German name for, I don't remember now what that means, but it all started back in Germany, and they adapted into the film format. But I think the way it works is because they run away from the formula. They introduced a new type of horror that we were not used to, and it was a different pace, different storytelling. Everything in Poltergeist was quite different, and the TV, giving that signal, that scared the whole world. Like I couldn't leave my TV that way back then.
Yeah, right. Well, a lot of people don't realize this too. Like when we were growing up, I didn't know if John experienced this, but Rogerio and I, at least in the United States, like TV stations used to stop broadcasting.
Yeah.
Like at midnight, 1 o'clock, they would play the national anthem.
Yeah, and then it would go on.
And they would go off the air, and it would be that white static right? You would see that, but that's something, it's interesting because you think like my kids will never know that
No.
there's no TV after like midnight
Just a
or
black
12.
screen. Well, even if it went like, yeah, like if like my streaming service like would have a screensaver, like a black screensaver or something. You know what I mean? Like there's no fuzz
Yeah,
anymore.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they would just go.
Uh,
They would literally play the national anthem, and like ABC would go off the air for like 6 hours.
yeah.
Never mind about
Uh,
ad revenue. Like hell with that. It's just,
If our kids, when our kids get to watch Poltergeist, they won't understand that reference.
yeah,
no.
They won't, because
Yeah, they'll think the snow on the
unless
TV
we
is the
tell
scary
them.
part. You're like,
yeah.
what's that on the TV? That's
Why
just
is there
snow.
no live stream? Why is there no doubt on demand? Like, what is that? Like,
What
that's
is
the
that
scary
box?
part.
What is that fuzzy box?
Well,
Because they don't even have TVs like that anymore.
I don't know if your kids do this, but mine will say like, "Dad, this looks really old. I'm not interested." Right?
Will's obsessed with Ghostbusters, and he didn't really feel that way, but I thought he would.
That kind of holds. Like, I'll play him like I don't know, like Tom and Jerry cartoons or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, we grew up watching this. Like, Dad, this looks really old. Like, what year is this from? I'll play like the original He-Man or GoBots from like the 80s or
Doesn't
something.
work.
And no, it doesn't hold up for those kids because they're so used to that computerized animation now. It wasn't that
Oh,
cellular.
like Pixar stuff. Yeah, like I try like the old Disney movies for my kids, or like the old Ninja Turtles cartoon that I used to watch growing up. The same. Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't. They like cartoons are not. Kids don't want them anymore. Like it has to
No.
be like Pixar looking.
I'm not quite sure about that. Yeah, have you seen the Spider-Man series from the 90s?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, my kid loves it.
Oh,
He
that's
has
awesome.
seen all of it. Now he's going to the Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's 2000,
Yeah.
middle 2000s, and he's still going on watching it.
That's cool.
But I think the 2D cartoon, they still get the kind of magic that we won't find in 3D. That is too perfect. It's
Right.
too renderized, and we don't want that.
Well, the 2D stuff looks more like the comic books because it's almost like the comic panels moving almost, So yeah.
Was that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? Had like Starfire was in there. Had
That was in the 80s. Yeah,
That's older, yeah.
that one. That's what I would show them, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's really old." Like, that's
he saw all of it,
yeah,
and it was great because they were three friends, and sometimes we get to cross them with Captain America, the Incredible Hulk, and the other characters from Marvel.
Did they do that in Brazil? Like Saturday mornings were cartoon time, like 7 in the morning till noon. Did they do that in Brazil too, or that?
And it was great because wasn't only on Saturdays, was every day.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Every day from 8 to 12.
That's
Jeez.
And people didn't want to attend school in the morning, so most of people would just go into the afternoon just not to lose. And not everybody had a cassette recorder, to watch it later. So
That's cool.
we hated when we had to study in the morning because all the cool cartoons, basically everything you've seen there, they were displaying here. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Saturday mornings was the big deal, right? So that's when they put them all on the television.
They saved the best one for Saturday here.
Yeah, and you could decide what you want to do Saturday morning. My mother might be going to the city to go for shopping for the week to get the grocery, and that was a big deal because we lived in the country, so you had to decide: do I go with mom and go to the city? Maybe mom will get me a toy or whatever. Something fun would happen. Or do I stay home and watch this next cool cartoon? You really had to pick and choose. There wasn't this ease of getting cartoons and things back then. It was kind of a big deal. You kind of had to decide what Saturday you were going to have based upon the cartoons coming on.
We had because all the shows I wanted were on Fox. X-Men, Spider-Man, like that was on Fox. I think Batman was too. I don't remember for sure with Batman, but and we didn't have cable where we lived. We lived out in the woods, so like we we didn't have satellite yet either. So we literally had 2 channels. I didn't have Fox. I don't remember. I don't think we got Fox until we got satellite. So I missed out on some of those cartoons, So that sucked, like not being able to like have channels. And like to your point, the fuzz, right? Because you're like freaking, even when you have channel 3 and channel 9, which was CBS and ABC, like it was all, the quality was trash.
We used to get really excited. We had antennas right on the TV
Yeah.
to get signal, right? And sometimes if the sky was right and the weather was right, you could get Boston. And we thought that was a huge deal, man. That's like I don't know if you got like Rio or something, Rogerio, like all of a sudden you get a channel from Rio de Janeiro, right, or something. And it was like huge to be able to see the Boston channel. We were like the kids in the country, man. We're like, look at there's this other people in this other world in Boston. It's fabulous.
Yeah,
like,
most of the time during my childhood, I only had access to 2 and 3 channels. 3 when I was 15, and we had a third broadcasting television system, and that was all. Like you didn't have many options. And the greatest thing that happened to me, I was in my 20s, was when I bought a video cassette and I could pre-record my programs. I learned how to do that, and it was great. I just have to tell people at home, don't touch this.
Don't film over. Yeah. Well,
channel. Yeah. Don't change the channel. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know how mad I was
go.
when my mom, like, I forgot what it was now, like I recorded something like a wrestling show or something stupid or a movie that I wanted to watch. And I went to watch it and my mom had recorded like country music videos over it. And I was like pissed.
They placed a little tab on there so they wouldn't be able to record, right? That was
yeah.
There was
like,
oh, go ahead. I just had something I was thinking of.
I was just gonna say, or if you like record over like family videos on accident or something stupid like that. Yeah.
There was a lady. I'd like to say it was like 1983, like when VCRs first came out. She started recording live television and did not stop for like 23, 30 years or something crazy. You can pull it up, Google it. She literally like went, tape to tape to tape and just had like basically a continual recording of this one channel for like 20 or 30 years. I try to remember the article I read, but I think it was something like she had to rent out like 4 different apartments to fit all of the cassette tapes in, right?
It's wild.
Yeah, like it's a real thing. And then she died, but now it's seen as like this really historic thing because it has all of these commercials and news and very important world things that were happening. It's the only video record of all of that happening. It's like, I think
only if they are not covered by mold.
Yeah, right. Who knows, right? But it's like, I think they said it was like 56,000 hours of footage or something crazy that she has. And now people are trying to figure out, like, well, what the hell do we do with it?
Yeah, they have to digitalize it.
56,000 hours, man. That is going to take another 30 years to digitize.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, why did she do it? Who knows? This crazy eccentric lady, just decided to record this shit forever and just don't touch that dial, literally, right? Be kind of a cool documentary. I wonder, it'd be just interesting to see like what the hell's on those tapes. And one of the things that blows my mind is if you go back on YouTube and look at some of the old commercials and stuff, the way that they film things, the way that they make kids react and things like that. It's like some of it's kind of like quasi questionable. Like you couldn't pull off an ad like that now. Like it's kind of offends somebody maybe in a degree, right? So it's interesting, like how much things have changed. A big thing that was a paradigm that happened when I was a kid with cartoons is there was WLVI out of Boston, TV 38. Was that the win? Yeah, that was TV 38, WLVI. Yeah. They came out with the 5-episode Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Came out, was a 5-episode, and that was they put it on right at like 3:30 when he got home from school. It was on, and then it ended, and we were so into that we were trying to record it and like get it, my brother and I called down to the station in Boston. We're like, you need more of this stuff, right? We were calling there. And that was before Ninja Turtles were really even a thing. Like the comic was out. And that's really what propelled them. I think Kenner helped put that out to propel the toy, was that cartoon series. And then they made more episodes that came out. Then Turtles blew up from there. But you couldn't have maybe necessarily like a station like that now that would pick up something that independent just on a whim and throw it out there for 5 episodes, see if it stopped, right? Like, it's kind of a different time back then. It's like the Wild West, you know?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you know, I really respect when somebody pulls off something that is meant to be that amount of episodes. It doesn't matter how much money, how much people is going to watch it. It's
They're gonna end it.
that piece and it's over. Because most of the times, I'd say nearly 100% of the times, like it's just they want to transform that into a money-making machine.
They milk it like Walking Dead.
Keep doing it,
Yeah.
and that's no reason for that. You know,
How many spin-offs does Walking Dead have now? Like 3. Like it's insane. Yeah. But like I don't know if you did you watch Ozark? Did you get into that?
I'm watching it. I'm on the 3rd series. Sometimes
Oh, okay.
you have to. I have to suspend my belief.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, but
I love it.
It's good. It's well written. It's well written. Like it surprises me sometimes.
I just finished the last. They just finished the whole show. That's why I asked you that, because
I just hope that's it, because like it can't be a 5th season.
It's not. No, they've already said this is it. This last season is it. We'll see. You know, we'll see what they, you know, money talks, right? But you know,
you know, like we didn't have the ET 2, did we?
No.
There isn't.
yeah.
There isn't. But they did it with the I don't know the title in English. The one with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh,
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Oh,
Yeah.
there's like 8 of those now.
Yeah.
There's only 2 with him, but
And they hired another kid to do
yeah.
follow up.
Yeah,
That's not crazy. That's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went straight to DVD, right? They didn't even go to the
It
theater.
did. I think Home Alone
no.
3 might. I think Home Alone 3 might have gone to theaters. I don't remember, but it was so. Even when I was a kid, I remember thinking, "This is stupid. This isn't Kevin McAllister. Like, get out of here." Like, part 2 had no business being as good as it did. Like, they already did it in part 1. They just took it and moved it to New York and did the same exact thing. And I still love it, but like, you know, there's not a need for that. But yeah, to your point, it's just kind of how it is. Like,
Yeah. People are bashing Matrix, the new film.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
I didn't want to say it.
I didn't see it. I didn't want to.
Yeah. I've seen the follow up for the first one. I saw the Loaded and Reloaded, and like it was like, all right, great. They can use computers, but it's not very enticing for me. Like,
I didn't like most of them. I love the first one. I really liked the second one, and then after that, I just was like, I watched them. Like, they looked cool, but
I love the first one. That was it.
Yeah. So they're gonna make another. I guess one more Terminator movie, but they feel like they've kind of exhausted the whole John Connor storyline, right? So
Terminator, but isn't another one already done like a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
I think they were already doing one. Yeah. A couple years ago, did you see? Yeah. Well, they did one with Sarah. I haven't even seen that one yet either.
They changed the story arc because of the whole time travel thing. So basically, with the not to get spoiler alert, I guess, but not to give it away, but basically, the events that happened in the newest one makes like the whole John Connor thing like thrown out the window, and you're like, well, that was a big fucking waste of time. So it's kind of an insult if you like the John Connor story arc. It's like. They kind of did that reset universe thing. It's like, oh, okay. Like,
the good thing that people don't forgive that kind of things.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's like, I wasted 6 episodes, 6 movies on caring about John Connor, and now you just say he doesn't care anymore, and they're going to come up with somebody new. Right? Like, okay, well, that's kind of an insult. So they did that with the new Star Trek though too. They rebooted the whole Star Trek universe. too,
Yeah.
right? On the movie side, where different events happen, right?
I understand that you can do that with a film that it was done at the time that we didn't have the technology,
Right.
and Star Trek was great.
Yeah.
That's something really above the mediocrity. It's very good, and I would like to see. I haven't seen it. It's saved in there. I'm gonna watch it because if you get the story with the right CGI, it's awesome. It's great,
Yeah.
and I don't mind because I love those stories, and I don't mind watching them again in a high quality TV. It's great. Like last time I've seen it wasn't a, I'd say 24-inch TV
Yeah.
and black and white, and it wasn't great. No, it wasn't. But
J.J.
that was
Abrams,
all I had.
he crushed
Rogerio, I
the
mean,
new.
Joel,
Yeah.
you're not sharing comments tonight. I noticed that there was a few on Facebook. I don't know if you saw those, but
Oh, we don't get them, so I'm sorry.
we don't show. They don't show in here anymore.
They're not showing now. So
It's
That's annoying.
It's a private party.
No,
I
they
don't.
used to. We used to be able to share them from Facebook directly. I saw Travis Gibb was responding to us when we were talking about all that stuff. I just looked on Facebook real quick. We're not being snobs, Travis. Sorry.
It's weird. It's not showing up on my admin panel. YouTube, I think, will. Facebook's been weird, man. Like,
It's weird.
I'm rarely there. I probably put 20 minutes a week now in there. I don't care. I think we talked about. I've talked about that before. I just wasn't getting the value out of it. We post up about the show, we post up about the books, and you get the same 4 people that always like you liking it, which is great. No disrespect to those people, appreciate it.
All I see on Facebook is the comics community. That's it.
Yeah, I only use it. I only use it for like the horror book communities too. Like I don't even use it for personal crap anymore. Like
No.
like my wife will post stuff, but like and tag me, and that's fine. But I don't ever post anything. Just because I don't care. I don't really care. Like I'm using it for business stuff. That's it. Like I really don't care about anything else on there.
Facebook doesn't show your post because they think you're trying to do ads without paying them, which is a pain in the ass too. So
yeah,
I guess if more than anything, I'm mostly on Twitter now, just talking about how shitty the Red Sox are. That's usually where I'm spending most of my time right now, is complaining about Red Sox baseball over there. So
this is how I thought they were going to be last year, and they're just playing like it this year instead. I remember last year I thought they were going to suck, and then they made me look like an idiot. Because I'm like, their team doesn't seem that good to me. And then all of a sudden they went off last year, and this year it's like, yeah, this is more what I was expecting last year.
Just have this really up and down, like great, terrible, great, terrible. It's every other year is like that.
Yeah.
It really is. So I don't know.
But,
We lost real on the baseball talk. Sorry about
that. I was gonna ask you guys if you saw the trailer for the new Jurassic Park movie.
I did.
No way.
Movie in the trailer, so I'm not going to go see the movie. The trailer.
Well, it really took my sales out from my dinosaur story idea. Like a lot of.
Do you have a dinosaur story?
Remember, I talked about this months ago. I haven't written it yet because like there's just we can't fit another series out right now. But like, yeah, I have this whole idea like I really want to do. And they kind of do some of it in the new movie to an extent. It's not the same, so I could still do what I wanted to, but like there's legit a couple scenes in the trailer that I had thought out like to use something similar, and I'm like, well, I can't do that anymore. Like there's like a pterodactyl like taking down an airplane in the trailer, and I legit had that whole freaking scene in my head. I thought it would look so cool in a comic book.
John, something that I haven't seen much in the comics industry. It's stories about abductions. I mean,
yeah,
alien abductions, and there are so many. Like I love listening to those stories. Some of them are great to hear. Some are kind of so, but there's so many theories connected to this. And if you can just watch some interviews. I recommend I think Joel has seen
probably, yeah,
Bob Lazar stories, and there's so many other guys, and there's so much that we don't know. And I do think that you could create something related to it.
Oh,
And
I love alien stuff.
think of the
Yeah.
images. Think of the different races. You know,
Yeah.
there are many, and there are growing interest in the subject as well.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the Missing 411 documentaries? Have you guys seen that?
Where's that?
It's a documentary, and what's happening is basically in like northwestern U.S., like over by Oregon, Washington State, like people will be out in these remote areas, and they just basically disappear, and then there's no trace or anything of it. They bring in search parties and dogs, and people try to find people, and then they'll show up like 2 years later at that exact spot, but like their clothes are missing, but there's no sign of like abuse or anything. And it's really, and they don't know why this will happen, but like usually it's like little kids and things, particularly young kids. There was like one situation, I'm paraphrasing here, but like the mom was in front of a barn. The kid went around the backside of the barn and vanished, and she went around the barn looking for him, and he just was totally gone. And then for like 2 years he was just gone. She thought like animals got him, but there's no blood or anything around. And then 2 years later he shows back up at that spot. So there's like either like portals or like, you know, dimensional, but the weird thing is they show up no clothes on, but no sexual abuse, no physical abuse or anything on them. They're just there naked like 2 years later, and there's like certain points and energy things that are happening, and nobody knows what the hell is going on with that.
That's weird. Yeah, it's wild.
I love that stuff, and I love Skinwalker Ranch is another one we've talked about too, where
Yeah.
all these weird different things keep happening there. People see things, spirits and entities. There's cattle mutilation, UFO sightings. The U.S. government spent something like $28 million investigating the events at this ranch and never released anything about what's going on there. There's like a lot of military, like black helicopters seen, and weird, mysterious things, and radiation readings. And I have a theory. My theory with Skinwalker is that there's a crashed UFO or off-world craft that may have crashed there 12,000 years ago, and it's sending out whatever it uses to warp time and space. It's still kind of accidentally emitting that stuff, and different creatures and beings or events are happening. Whatever system that helps it navigate through space is kind of leaking out. Or my other theory, this is what I just had recently, is that it might be a future U.S. military craft. Because if that technology is there where that can then bend time and space, what's to say it didn't go back in time and then crash at that point, and now our government's trying to get it? It's actually a human craft from the future that we just engineered. So weird theories that I go through thinking about that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
could be, right? If you start bending time and space, a lot of possibilities happen that you just don't even think are
I give some thoughts to the theory of the multiverse and the ability to traverse through those multiverses. But even the faintest possibility makes me have an aneurysm, because I can't fathom.
Yeah, right.
I can just think properly about it. You have to be on something. You have to use some mushrooms to understand it.
Right? That's like the definition of infinity, is that this exact same conversation, word for word, is happening in an infinite amount of universes all across, forever. So that's like the odds are that the same conversation with the same people are happening somewhere out there. That's like really infinity.
Oh no. There are some theories there, and like in science is kind of signaling to that proposition that could be possible in an atomic way. And like I don't understand it. I'm not that smart.
It's the same.
I wonder if every version of me is tired right now.
You're not even my eyes tired. You're not even 40 yet, man. Wait till those days come. That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
You're 36 now or something.
I turned 37 in a couple months. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. 37. Oh God.
Rogerio, wait for it. Yeah, it's coming, bud.
Yeah, I was king until 36. Fuck, I was at my best. I could drink. I could drink and drive.
No, that ended for me in my 20s. I couldn't so what's funny is like pre-pandemic, I was in the best shape I've ever been in. Like I was running like 5Ks pretty much every day. Like just I ran all the time. I worked out. I went to the gym, and now I'm just like I don't have any motivation. My wife keeps hinting at it, like, are you gonna start running again? And I'm
But
like, what are you trying to say?
John, don't worry about that. In that regard, like it's very easy to get in shape. Like you can do it. Like I'm going to be 52. Like I didn't lose that much. But the thing is, like your ability to stay up
Yeah,
diminishes with time. Your ability to stay focused it's really really bad because
yeah.
and gets worse. And fuck, like and you get drunk very quickly.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So like now, because we don't go out, we have kids, right? So like we hardly ever get to go out anymore, anyways. But even if I have like a third drink, I'm like driving home, like, oh my god,
No, no.
like what? Like this never used to be an issue. Like what the hell is happening right now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
wait until you're 40 and then say fuck it,
just
I'm
Uber
old.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
And yeah, deserve it.
yeah.
that's right.
Oh man.
Okay,
Rogerio's got the band back going on, buddy. I saw you had some live video. It was good.
no, that was just a very quick participation there. Like
Nice.
those guys, they asked me, and I said, all right, let's do it. And I
I
did
love it.
someone filmed it, and
Yeah.
put that
Reminds
on.
It was awesome. Reminds me of my old days, man. I kind of miss it, playing with the bands and things. That's how it was. It's fun. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I have the time for it.
yeah, that's it, man. People say we're gonna drum again. I'm like, oh god, hours in the day,
Oh,
right?
man.
Just where does it fit? I can't fit it right now.
This you have your kits there, your drum kit.
I have a very old Tama that my mother bought for me, probably in 1989.
Wow.
It's really banged up because it's been through a lot of storage and moving, and it would need some restoration. But I still have the shells. But I sold like all the cymbals and the stands and pedals. Just you sell this stuff. You need money when you're a young guy, pay for the bills, whatever. So, but I have the actual drums themselves, but they would need some work. Uh, but they're more sentimental now than anything, and they're just never for sale. But my mother bought that for me like 30 years ago. I still have them. So they're in my garage. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I have a guitar that they bought too over there. My parents bought me. I still have that. It was the one from Wayne's World, the white Fender that he got.
Jeez.
So I have it over there.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got a Stratocaster here, Fender too. Yeah, as an Eric Clapton signature.
Yeah.
But I don't play
Damn.
it. I'm saving it for my son.
Yeah. This one I barely touch. My buddy Dan had it all restrung and retuned for me as a housewarming gift when I bought this house. But it's just this time, again, maybe my kids will start playing guitar and they can take it over and that
Let's
kind of.
hope. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the most important instrument I have is my father's cornet. It's like a small trumpet that he had from like the 40s and 50s. I have that too. Yeah.
But the way it works now is different. Like if you want them to do something, just tell them that they can do it.
That's right.
I say, oh, don't touch my guitar. That is sacred. You don't touch this. All right. Oh, why not? Because I don't want it.
Yeah.
And they be very curious about it.
Right.
Maybe they want to pick.
You know what I do is I buy like a $10 guitar and I keep that around for them to pick up and fool around with. So that's okay. That's what I have to.
Yeah. Because this generation, if you encourage them, like they just lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought my son was all into soccer, and as soon as I act excited about it, he wants nothing to do with it, So he's in karate now, so that's cool. He seems into that. He's not the most coordinated kid in the world, but
but he'll get better.
Well, and that's like one of his senseis. She's like, that's how I looked when I started. Like, you should have seen it, Now she's a black belt, obviously. So,
the female.
Yeah, it's a mix there.
Oh,
They
that's
have a
great.
bunch of sensei. It's not like when I took karate, I feel like I had one sensei. They have like 8. Like they just switch it up. There's a lot of kids, you know. He has to go twice a week. He's going tomorrow morning, but he looks forward to it, you know. Like I was
Oh,
so impressed because he doesn't seem like he has an attention span, and like he's remembering like they give like number identifications to certain moves, right? Like, or a letter, I
yeah,
mean. So they'll be like A, B, C, or whatever, and then they like so he would get that, and then they'd be like C, A, B, and he was starting to get like the right letters, and I'm like, holy
yeah.
shit, like,
He's doing
yeah,
the katas.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But to get his next belt, he's gonna have to know. Like, we'll see if he's like, when am I gonna get my next belt? I'm like, buddy, like, it's supposed to be after a certain amount of classes, like you get to try for it, but you know, you might not get it your first try.
Right.
um you know, hopefully.
He will get it. Like it's
Yeah,
the whole thing about getting the belt is to encourage the student to keep going.
yeah,
You know,
that's true,
it's
especially
not.
like he's a white belt right now, so I mean he's not like the
Yeah,
like,
he's going to
yeah,
get it. Yeah,
yeah,
because there's another thing about the generation now. They don't like being let down.
yeah. Well,
Like
they expect everything.
I don't know if they don't like it or if they don't have the ability to be put down.
Well, that's it. They can't anymore. Like you can't
Yeah,
like the hard love's not there anymore. So like they just don't.
no,
And then like they expect everything. Like even like kids just below my age, you know, like if they don't get a promotion their first try, they want to quit their job, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you realize that how many times we had to try to get a promotion? Like it doesn't work that way. Like you can't just, oh, like I went to school for this, I've been here a year, like I'm going for this big job that like I'm not qualified for, and then they don't get it and they just quit. You know, it's like you're an idiot. Like this is a good career.
It's
um
much like a relationship. When you're not looking, you get it. That's how I ended up with my role. Is I didn't really. I kind of give up. I was like, yeah, just do what I'm doing. It's all good. Then they're like, no, we need you to do something different. I was like, okay, so right. It's like you're not
yeah.
looking for a girlfriend and you find a girlfriend, right? So that's how it goes. They kind of
yeah,
Oh
right.
man. I want that. I didn't want to talk about my book all night, but I did. There's something I was going to
all right.
mention earlier.
Before I say that, let me just get another can. That's a very small one.
All right, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring 3 over, Rogerio. Then you won't have to
Wait,
get up anymore.
was
Right?
that beer? Is he
I don't
drinking?
know. I don't know. I drank the bottle. I finished my bottle of rye, but not tonight, so I'm
Oh,
dry.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I only had 2 drinks tonight. I'm
What's
out.
this was not full. Like I'd be dead. So it's all good.
Be an interesting show.
Yeah. I'd be like over here somewhere. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Here we go.
I was gonna say I think I might have mentioned this before to you, Joel. I don't know, but did I ever tell you that there was an actual Unsolved Mysteries episode based on out of my hometown back in the 80s or whatever?
I think you said
Yeah,
it once. Yeah.
you mentioned that in the
I
program.
did. Okay. Yeah. So like that was part of where the idea came from, was there was a serial killer and there was an Unsolved Mysteries episode based on it. And when we were kids, like it fascinated us because they never found the guy. So, you know, we just always one of my friends had like a treehouse, and his neighbor across the street was one of the rumored suspects. So like we would sleep up in the treehouse and we would just make up freaking stories about the guy across the street, like how freaking we had a serial killer over there and stuff. You know, so like that always fascinated us growing up. And I knew when I was writing this book, because the main characters are based off my friends and me when we were kids. I was like, I knew I wanted to use that, like about this like serial killer from the past sort of thing. Obviously, my book's way more supernatural. You know, that shit didn't really happen, but that was always something that I wanted to like write about. I've had that idea in my head for years, and the I also think I might have mentioned to you. So like the main characters are based off myself and my friends. One of the main characters actually he took his own life like a couple years after high school. So like the book's kind of dedicated to him too. And I actually was going to donate. I don't know if that's the right word, but I was going to give some of the sales proceeds to like the suicide prevention hotline.
That's
Like
donation.
they have
Yeah.
a foundation for it. Yeah. But I haven't set anything up yet because I don't want to like promote that and make it seem like I'm trying to make a money grab off it. You know what I mean? Like so I really don't know the best way to handle that because like I don't want to be like, hey guys, buy my book because I'm giving
Well,
X amount of it to this.
the
Yeah.
way to do that is don't say it now, but let's say you get to the point where you're able to give some money. You could say, do it retroactively, right? Say, well, because you guys bought my book, I was able to give this amount of money to this society,
Yeah,
right? Just
that's
kind of do it.
probably a good way to do it because I don't
Yeah,
want to not do anything, but at the same time I'm like I can't just like come out and say that up front because I don't want it to feel like I'm like trying to like
Yeah,
make money off it. Um,
yeah, I would do
but
it
like
after. Just say, thanks to your support, I was able to raise X amount of dollars for blah blah blah, right? So
yeah,
I wouldn't be very concerned about it because it's good when somebody is buying something, and that's going to help. Something,
yeah,
and knowing beforehand, I think is an asset. It's
yeah.
not a liability. So I don't see a problem with that.
I even used like for a lot of the characters I used some of the same names from growing up. And I had his name in there and then I'm like I can't do that like knowing how things went. And I haven't talked to his mom in years. So I'm like I'd feel kind of weird reaching out to her now saying, "Hey, do you care if I use his name in the book?" So um but
Yeah,
anyone that knows him will know who it was,
yeah, she will probably approve of that
I'm sure
because
she would. This kid like lived down the street from me, and she used to drop him off at my house all the time because like before we had license, like we would play video games like freaking all the time with each other and shit. And but yeah, so I'm sure she would. I feel bad because I haven't communicated since the funeral basically, which was like 2 years after high school. So but anyways, one of the characters is based off him, and one of my other best friends read it, and he's like, "Man, you did him justice. Like he would love that. Like that's awesome." So it's cool. So a lot of people from my hometown are like really excited. I'm like, you might want to read it before you get excited about it because I don't really make the town sound that great. You know, but like all the locations are like legit. Like there's a ski jump in it that like a couple big scenes take place on, and like that's really behind the high school, and they really transported it in from Lake Placid back in the 70s.
so you would say that is almost a documentary.
Kinda. I mean, there's legit like probably at least half of like the book is real, like stuff that happened, like scenes in that book to the kids. Like the main character, he's abused. I was not abused. My dad didn't lay a finger on me, and I told my mom that before she read the book, I'm like, I hope you don't get mad at me because the main kid's based on me, but
a lot of
obviously,
active dads in your writing, so it seems to be
I
your
know. I like that whole dynamic of like
yeah.
the parent kid relationship and messing with it and shit. But yeah, the dad is abusive in the book, and but there's some of the stuff that dad said that really my dad did to me, like uh, he blocked MTV. I think I said this when Volpe was on. Yeah, my dad blocked MTV on me, but I could watch any horror movie I wanted. And I used to be like, "Why can I watch someone get their head cut off, but I can't watch freaking MTV? Like that makes no sense to me." Because I was that kid that would argue, and like try to question stupid rules, And my dad used to get so pissed about that.
And now your son does that to you, right? That's a
Oh, way worse than I was. He's way worse. Because that's what my dad's like. Yeah, you got it from you. I'm like, if I talk to you that way, you probably would hit me. Are you kidding me? He's so mouthy. Um, it's like teenagers. It's weird. He's 8 and he talks like a teenager.
yeah.
Would you ever curse at home?
No, no. I swore. I don't even. It was like I said like a word that wasn't even that bad. Like like damn or something, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I dropped an F-bomb. But it was at the babysitter's, and she's like, I got to tell your mom that you swore. And she did. And my mom wasn't happy, but my mom was always like kind of laid back about stuff. She's like, I got to tell your father when he gets home from work. And we had this massive toy box, like it was taller than me, full of action figures and stuff. Like, I remember hearing his car pulling, and I freaking jumped in the toy box and covered myself with action figures to hide myself because I didn't want him to like get pissed at me for swearing. And he drops fuck every other sentence. My dad swears like a sailor, but I couldn't swear, you know. And I remember my mom telling him and trying to like sugarcoat it a bit for me, you know, but he got pissed at me for it. And now looking back, I'm like you swear so much. Like, no wonder where I got it from, you know. But he always used to use that whole phrase, like, do as I say, not as I do. And if I try that with my son, he'll be like, what?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that reminds me a bit of something that I did. I was very infantile back then. When I was 30, my daughter, she was 1 year old. She didn't speak that much, and I would ask her, say daddy or mom, aunt, anything, and she wouldn't say anything. And then one day she got me saying "porra," which means fuck, and then she started saying "porra" all the time, all the time. Her mother came home and she was happy, saying that a lot all the time. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I said, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. She must have listened to someone else there.
Yeah.
She never forgot that because there's something with the emotion that the kids, they capture that and they never forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you say it with like a certain way, like obviously, we say fuck, like like Will definitely knew that wasn't a good word the first time he heard that, but he messed up saying it, and we just never corrected him, obviously. But yeah, he doesn't swear yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be that type of kid that will swear, and I'm going to be like, you little shit. But hopefully he doesn't watch the replay of this.
It's not a great
Yeah.
reply for it.
Yeah, right. You don't swear, you little shit. Yeah, no, no, I don't know. I think he gets it, kind of like I did. Like, I really didn't even swear around my friends till I was a teenager. Like, I was like, even like not around grown-ups, I like was afraid to. And then I did. My brother, we have it on video. I actually used it at his wedding. He never swore, my twin brother, and we wanted to film him saying fuck, and my friend Todd said, I'll give you $25 if you say it. And he was like, no, like, I don't want to, whatever. And then eventually he got so pissed at my friend that he said it, and we had it on camera. We were all flipping out, like laughing, and like, and my friend Todd never paid him. Like, he never gave him the $25. So,
Wow.
and this was in high school. So then at my brother's wedding, I was the best man, and Todd was there. And part of my speech, I planted it ahead of time because Todd's a cheap bastard, and he still wouldn't pay him. So I gave Todd $25 before my speech, and I was like, just have this ready. He had no idea why. Like, he's like, huh? Okay. So then in my best man speech, I was just talking about how innocent my brother was growing up and how he wouldn't swear, and I said, to the extent, like, I have a story I want to tell, and I talked about that, how we were trying to film him, we finally got him to say it, and I was like, and as a matter of fact, Todd never paid him, and I was like, Todd, get your ass up here and give him his $25. And like, everyone was freaking cracking up. But
That's a great idea.
I've done 2 best man speeches. I think I did well on both of them. But for my own vows, that's different. My own
it's a great thing to have a writer doing the speech, because they would never fall short in words, and you always have nice stories to tell.
My best friend's wedding, I was his best man, and he when I went to the beach with him and his wife before they were married, was running on the beach towards the water, and a seagull shit on my face. And apparently, like, if a bird shits on you, it's supposed to be good luck, right? Like that's like a thing. I didn't know that, but like when I was doing his speech, I was talking. I told that story, and then I ended the speech at the end with, Chris, apparently, a million seagulls must have shit on your face because you're the luckiest man in the world tonight. Like something stupid like that. But yeah, it was fun. But I don't know why this is what we do. We just went on a tangent about best man speeches. So
Yeah,
anyway.
that's a new tangent.
It is.
Right
Yeah.
here, yeah.
I don't think I'll be in any more best man speeches, unless my brother.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
And like
maybe.
you don't have now is the time that to have friends getting divorced.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say my brother, maybe he'll have a second marriage, and then I'll have to do another best man speech.
Yeah, right. You get to that weird point of life where there are no weddings. You're like, oh darn, all your friends are.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife's like bummed out because like my daughter's at the perfect age where she loves dancing and music, and like she's so funny. Like she would have a blast at a wedding, and the only wedding she's ever been to, she was 2 weeks old, and it was like 85 degrees and humid, and inside the wedding venue the air conditioner wasn't working, so it was like 100 degrees. So like it was just not even like safe for like a newborn to be involved. So she's never gotten to like enjoy it, which is sad. But I don't know. We'll see if there's any more second marriages.
Oh, we might do a vow renewal on the 15th or 20th, so we can invite you up to that, so you guys could come.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how many years is that away? God, that's going to be another 4 to 10, 4 to 9.
Did you say 4 to 9 years?
Yeah, 429, not 49.
Oh, if you did, no. I was thought you were just saying for 1 year. I'm like, you can't. There's a 5-year gap. You can't remember that because you said 15, 20. Yeah,
no, 15 year or 20 year. I always, for some reason, in my mind, I always like my anniversary is next Saturday, but I always think of I always get the year and the day mixed up for some reason in my dumb head with numbers. So, right. And I'm on my second, so give me a break. Cut me off.
This is our 10-year, and you're supposed to do like some big like traveling thing. Like we planned our Maine trip. We'll go up to the beach in Maine in August or whatever, but like we haven't planned any big event for our 10th. But yeah. Anyways. This show seems like it should be coming to an end here. I think
we have hit the sweet spot here, and I'm going to ask John if is there anything you want to let people know about your new projects?
Well,
John, mine.
Yeah. Hey, my book comes out 4 weeks from today. A month, yeah. And today is Friday, right? Yeah. And buy it, please. I'll have signed author copies that I can send people signed too. I'll definitely do that. And my second book I'm almost 12,000 words into that one already. I just submitted 3 short stories. We'll cross my fingers to see if they get accepted. I think they're good stories. The good thing about my novel is that I got a bunch of beta readers for it, and they all not all of them have responded to me, but like the ones that did really loved it, and so like they're like, if you want to send anything my way, do it. So like I've had them read my short stories, and it's helped because I'd never had that before. I just was like, I think it's good. I don't know. And so we'll see. 2 of the ones I submitted to were for horror Western stories, and I think I told you guys about this story idea for a comic series about a Western series. I took that and made it a short story, and I sent it to a few people, and they really liked it. I still kind of want to do that as a comic series. I think it would be pretty badass, but we'll see. So in the next like month or two, I'm gonna like find out a ton of shit. So it'll be cool.
And how's it going with the third issue of that ball?
Deadball 3 I've only outlined so far, loosely. It's not even like a tight outline, but I know what needs to happen. Once I get the outline, the script doesn't take that much time. It's the outline that takes the longest because I'm trying to like think through where I need that issue to end, and then once I have like the rough outline, then I'm like outlining page by page for like page reveals and all that shit, and then I script it after that. So, but issue 3 is going to be pretty freaking cool. So
Do you know what we missed? We could have done on the first issue. It was the actual photographs of the freakies.
yeah,
And
that'd be cool.
we can do that on the issue too.
Be an add-on on Kickstarter, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. We will do a Kickstarter if anyone's curious. We didn't feel it was right to do a Kickstarter until these early collectors editions and silverbacks editions got sent out. Just feels right to make sure those early backers get their books before we say, "Hey guys, we're doing a Kickstarter now. Please support us."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're definitely gonna do a Kickstarter, and we talked about some really cool freaking stretch goal stuff. So
add ups, yeah, great.
Yeah. So
okay, so I'm gonna let you go, and we'll be here next Friday.
Like Bill Murray said, I'd love to stay and talk with you, but I'm not going to. Like you said, right?
That's
awesome.
Yeah, sounds like a Bill Murray comment.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's an update, folks. So you got it there. So that's where we're at. Deadball will start shipping out within days. That's cool. And big things coming down. So appreciate everybody's patience. And yeah, we're still working. We didn't take your money and run to the pick up a cup. That's all good.
We'd have to have some balls to do that, and then still host a show, like just talking about the book.
Probably we would be a hit.
Yeah. Real quick on Deadball though, I just want to make sure anyone knows that the only edition we have so far is the Silverbacks cover. So the ones that have backed that, that's the first one going out. The collector's edition cover is the one Joel did. That's not quite ready yet. So that'll be next. But I don't know if it's a technicality thing, right? But getting the new logo on the collector's cover has been more tedious than we wanted it to be. So
yeah,
if you get the collector's cover, do you also get the Alan Baxter version somewhere in the book?
Alan Baxter.
Alan Baxter. No, it's Brian Silverbacks.
Hey, Alan Baxter, I'd love him to do a story for us if he's watching in Australia.
He's good. Yeah. All the first guys here.
Yeah. No, because there's only 100 of the Silverbacks covers, so we're selling them separate on our website. I mean, if someone wanted to buy both, they could, but there's no. The collectors does not include that. Yeah, it's because then for Kickstarter, the plan is to do the black, white, and red cover of Silverbacks as another variant, and only have X amount of those available.
And the black and white version, Rogerio non-colored version, is also in there.
Yeah, the interior. Yeah, we definitely want the black and white version. Do we have? Yeah. Well, we can talk about this offline. Do we have the black and white with Ed's, text in there? Lettering, yeah.
Yeah, the color on its own layer, so you just turn them off. That's easy.
That's what I would think, but yeah, I'm clueless on that stuff, so I didn't want to ask it, and I did anyways. But yeah, that's it. So, so the Silverbacks cover is. As soon as Joel and I can get together, obviously it's Mother's Day weekend now, and it's your anniversary next week though. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. It's gonna happen soon. So get those out, and there's still some available. We haven't sold out of the Silverbacks or the collectors. We still have some available. So
Right there at the bottom of the screen, guys.
Yeah.
The
We've seen
comics
some
dot com.
sales start trickling back in now that people know that it's a real book and not fake. So
Oh, and at the end of the show, we got
Fun times.
showed up just in time to make a comment. So there he is.
there you go.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, have a good night. I think we'll be back next week. We'll see what happens, right? So
We are. I gotta be better about booking guests again. I had a tight schedule going. I had a spreadsheet, and now I don't. So
we're all typical
yeah, we're
fashion.
all yeah. So
Shocking, right?
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, guys.
Have a good night, everybody. Appreciate the love, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Take it easy. Good night.